Well, we talked, I think, about all things type 1 diabetes.
Yeah.
But Dr. Attar, you're an avid traveler.
Yeah.
So how do you travel as a type 1 diabetic? Tell us about, some of the challenges, because it's not easy.
Yeah.
There was a cartoon the other day. I can't remember if it was in the type 1 grit group or type 1 normal, one of the type 1 groups. And the cartoon was of a type 1 diabetic traveling, and she was carrying literally everything, including the kitchen sink and the the chandeliers in the house, because well, how do you travel? How do you solve some of the challenges of traveling, making sure that you have everything you might need?
Yeah. I did some traveling this summer actually, and I like take double everything that I think I might need. I traveled with my pump, and I brought that, and so even when I've been to 75 countries. I love culture. I love local food. I want to try and eat everything. And I still do that and eat low carb, because I think all the best kind of local foods are the protein stuff. I was in Spain this summer, and I'm eating all the smoked ham and seafood and all this stuff, and loving it. And so I actually don't find it much of a challenge. I just have to bring all that stuff with me, keep my insulin cool. I have a little cooler bag, or if I have a hotel with a refrigerator, I keep it in there. And I just double up on all my supplies. So funny thing is, at the end of, not funny thing, but it is what it is. At the end of this trip, at that time, you needed a negative COVID test to return to the USA. And I went and got my test. I had no symptoms and tested positive. So I had to quarantine for an extra week. And
in the US.
What's up?
In the US, did you quarantine?
No, I was in. So this trip was Spain, France, and then Morocco. I ended my trip in Morocco. I was in Morocco. So tested positive, which with no symptoms. I like to think it's because I'm pretty healthy, and maybe I had COVID, and just my body fought it off, and that was that. And you can, if you get COVID at any point, it's possible to test positive for like 3 months after too. So who knows when this was, but I was fine. So you had to quarantine for a week, and then you can go back even with the positive test. So luckily I had extra supplies with me. And I was fine to do that. I have been in situations in the past where I lost my insulin or smashed a bottle or whatever. And it's actually fairly easy to get insulin around the world. The USA is one of the most difficult places to do that. But outside of the USA, it's really easy to walk into a pharmacy. You don't even need a prescription and just get whatever insulin that you need. And I have done that. So yeah, that it's definitely manageable. And I would say for me, a big part of travel is enjoying the local food, and you can do that and keep eating the way we do. And I think that's the best food, that is all the protein food. And and I was off of my diet for a little bit, but in the sense I was off of my routine. So there was some challenges with blood sugars in walking a lot. And so yeah, there were challenges, but I doesn't stop me from traveling. It doesn't really affect me too much. Doesn't, and I still enjoy things. Yeah,
as long as you have enough supplies. I always take double of everything. When I left the UK, it was in March this year, and so I'm going to be away from the UK for a whole year, for 12 months. So 12 months supply of pump paraphernalia. And the CGMs and insulin and even glucose tablets, because I just didn't know if I'd be able to find these things easily in Mexico. So I brought everything, absolutely
Yeah.
everything with me, including ketone testing strips, everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then of course you get the cables and the chargers and adapters for
Yeah.
different countries. But I remember having 2 carry-ons just of my diabetes supplies. And
Yeah.
luckily I didn't get questioned, except when I arrived at Mexico here, they kind of looked, I'm trying to explain. I showed them my pump. And
Yep.
fortunately, diabetes is an internationally sort of known disease.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
Under the same name, and the minute I said insulin, and then they were fine, let me go. But it was just so funny. 2 full carry-ons, they were bursting with all my diabetes paraphernalia.
Yeah, I hear you. It's the same with me. I bring a lot.
Yeah, I'd never done it like this before, like 12 months supply. So and more, of course, just to cover failure of anything.
Yeah.
But you did mention if you're traveling, and this is the vacation, as you call it, we'll call it holiday in the UK, at a vacation season for most people now, and they're going on holidays. You can still maintain low carbohydrate diet, as much as possible. Just leave the rice out. This is what I do here. We have Mexican food. I leave the tortillas out.
Yeah. I spent a lot of time in Mexico myself too, and I've actually brought low carb tortillas with me to Mexico on trips. But you can also just there's a lot of food there too that you can just eat from a plate that's really, really good too. And I'm not really tempted by those foods, and I'd rather my blood sugars be good. If someone's out there has had some carbohydrates on a trip, it's also not the end of the world. If it's like a once-off thing, you're on vacation and you do your best to maintain your blood sugars. I'm not tempted by that kind of stuff, and I am fine. But if you were to do that, I'm not gonna be mad at you for doing that. And I think you can make it work. And again, it's easier to make work if you just avoid that stuff. But a couple of times, it's not the end of the world for you as well.
Which actually, for most people, it seems to be when they start ruining and find themselves, eating, I don't know, the French baguette or something. They go, no, I've ruined it, so I might as well just, forget about low carb for the duration of my holiday. It doesn't have to be like that. Be kind to yourself. So you ruined it once. You tasted the French baguette. It was delicious. Just try and avoid it next time. So it's not the end of the world. But,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I always say I'm not attracted to sort of carbs. I don't crave them. I can have them at the table and not touch them. But if you are tempted, if you are someone who has addictive sort of behavior and you are addicted to the carbohydrates, I always say to people, well, don't create that temptation for it. Don't order it. Send those tortillas. Actually, I do it for my family members as well. None of us eats the tortillas. We literally send them away, and then they go, but it's fresh. It's made. No, we don't want them. Just take them away. So don't have the temptation there if you can't, resist it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's it. It's like when they put the bread on the table at the steakhouse. You're just staring at it. Your mouth is watering. Tell them don't take the bread away. You won't miss it if it's not there.
Yeah, exactly. And it's torture for some people. Yeah.
Totally.
Well, we had such a great conversation, an hour and a half. I'm so pleased you accepted my invitation.
Oh, no, it was great to talk to you.
Yeah. So perhaps we can do this again another time with maybe some other type 1 diabetics, and we can all share experiences. So I mean, for the audience, you probably found out that, Dr. Attar and I manage our diabetes on the low carbohydrate diet, but quite differently in many other ways. So there isn't just one way. This is what you have to do. You can, as long as you're managing it well, then you can even vegans, type 1 diabetic vegans. Yeah, I mean, protein is important, but if you are vegan, there's no way you're not, you're changing. You're going to become a carnivore. Then you can still do low carbohydrates. It's not that challenging. Anyone on any diet can do the low carbohydrates, especially if they are type 1 diabetics, and they will benefit from it.
Totally.
Well, thank you once again. I wish you a brilliant day in beautiful Connecticut. Thank you. Bye
You
for
too.
now.